Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, chapter 7, the killing of the demon Trinavrata, text 19. Please repeat. Bhumau Nidaya Tam Gopi Vishmita Bhatrapiditha Mahapurusham Adadhya Jagatam Asha Paramashu Bhumau Nidayatam Kopi Vismita Parapidita Mahapurusham Adatya Jagatama Karmasu Bhumau on the ground, Nidhaya placing, Tam the child, Gopi Mother Yashoda, Vismita being astonished, Bharapidita being aggrieved by the weight of the child, Mahapurusham Lord Vishnu Narayana, Adadhya took shelter of, Jagatam as if the weight of the whole world, Asa engaged herself, Karmasu in other household affairs. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Feeling the child to be as heavy as the entire universe and therefore being anxious, thinking that perhaps the child was being attacked by some other ghost or demon, the astonished mother Yashoda put the child down on the ground and began to think of Narayana. Foreseeing disturbances, she called for the Brahmanas to counteract this heaviness, and then she engaged in her other household affairs. She had no alternative than to remember the lotus feet of Narayana, for she could not understand that Krishna was the original source of everything. Purport. Mother Yashoda did not understand that Krishna is the heaviest of all heavy things and that Krishna rests within everything. Matstani sarvabhutani, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 9.4. Maya tatamitam sarvam jagata vyaktamurtina. Krishna is everywhere in his impersonal form, and everything rests upon him. Nonetheless, nachaham te svavastita. Krishna is not everywhere. Mother Yashoda was unable to understand this philosophy because she was dealing with Krishna as his real mother by the arrangement of Yogamaya. Not understanding the importance of Krishna, she could only seek shelter of Narayana for Krishna's safety and call the Brahmanas to counteract the situation. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Putale Srimate Bhakti Vikasa Swami Nityananda. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Putale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityananda. Namaste Saraswati Deva Gauravati Pachaya. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Bhumau Nidhayatam Gopi Vishmita Bhara Pidita Mahapurusham Hadadhyau Jagatam Asa Karmashu. In translation, feeling the child to be as heavy as the entire universe and therefore being anxious, thinking that perhaps the child was being attacked by some other ghost or demon, the astonished mother Yashoda put the child down on the ground and began to think of Narayana. Foreseeing disturbances, she called for the Brahmanas to counteract this heaviness, and then she engaged in her other household affairs. She had no alternative than to remember the lotus feet of Narayana, for she could not understand that Krishna was the original source of everything. Hare Krishna. So here we are continuing to hear the wonderful pastimes of the Supreme Lord. So now, after killing Putana and Shakatashura, now is 1 year. Now Krishna's age is 1 year old, and now this incident is happening. That one day, in the previous verse also, the same thing is described. That Mother Yashoda is feeding Krishna, keeping on her lap, and suddenly she is feeling so heavy, unbearable weight, and then she just leave Krishna and then think of Lord Narayana and went, called Brahmanas and then doing other household duties. So these are the things happening here, and first thing here, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is explaining that why Krishna is become so heavy that for Mother Yashoda becoming very unbearable weight. That Krishna was thinking that Mother Yashoda is lifting him, little bit, like up to maximum her shoulder, but Krishna wants to play in the sky, very high. So Krishna could see that Trinavrata is coming, this demon, and he can lift Krishna, and then so he becomes so heavy. So Mother Yashoda leaves him, and then the demon, he gives opportunity to, Trinavrata comes, and also same time the Mother Yashoda is not gets disturbed by this. So Krishna becomes so heavy, then he goes sky and the very high, and then he plays a little bit with Trinavrata, and then he kills him. So this is why Krishna does this. So here in the verse, in the translation first, is that being the child to be as heavy as the entire universe. This is a very unusual thing. It's not, every day every mother is experiencing it, So, of course, Krishna is not an ordinary child. Nothing is impossible for Krishna. Parasya Shaktir Vividaiva Shriyate Swabhavik Jnana Bala Kriyacha. He has multi-potencies. Parasya Shakti, Shakti, the energy, the power. Yes. And he can do anything, everything, whatever he wants. So, and we see that no wonder why Krishna become so heavy. How is, somebody may ask, how is possible, child suddenly become so heavy? Why not? Because we hear about the creation, uh, how the Supreme Lord Krishna uh, expand in so many unlimited form practically. First he expands as Balaram, then Chaturvyuha, Vasudeva, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Sangarsh, and then again Dvitiya Chaturvyuha, then Lord Narayan, then Purusha avatars. The first Purusha avatar, Karanodakashaya Vishnu. We hear the description that every breath, when he breathes out, and there's millions of universe comes out of his body. So we understand we are living in this one uh, tiny planet, and even in this planet there's so many great mountains. Just 2-3 months back, I've been to Himalayas, Badrinath, Kedarnath, and all these places. It's amazing. It's kilometers and kilometers you drive. You just this huge mountain is so amazing to see, and such a heavy mountains are there, and even here you see Salem. The name itself comes from the word Salem. Salem means the mountain. If you go on the terrace and see all around, everywhere is full of mountain. Just last Sunday, I was observing when we were going to Karur program. Sham Chaitanya Prabhu was driving, and I was just looking, even out of Salem also, there is all the way up to Namakkal, everywhere is full of mountains. Because I was thinking that we are struggling to get the stones for building temple. I was thinking there's so many mountains, still we are having difficulties to get the stone to build on temple. Of course, it's all politics and government policy, this, that, so many things are there. So anyway, the point is that the, is so much weight within this tiny planet, and there is this universe is much bigger to it, and there's millions of universes. Such universes are coming out from the Karanodakshaya Vishnu. So then, what is the problem for Krishna becoming so heavy? Definitely, Krishna is the source of all these Purusha avatars and all other expansions, and so it's no wonder, if anybody reads about Krishna, anybody hear about Krishna from the authorized scriptures and authorized devotees, and it's not so difficult to understand. So in Krishna, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also is explaining that Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo. He says, he himself explains that everything emanates from him. So, and also we see, so even materially, like if somebody practice Ashtanga Yoga, there is if become perfect, achieve the siddhis, ashta siddhis, some yogis can achieve. One of the siddhi is becoming the heaviest of all heavy things. Even by some practice, some yogi can become heavy. And what to speak of Krishna, who is Yogeshwara, he is master of all this yogic power and yogis. And for Krishna, it's not a big thing. So, and yesterday purport we also saw that Srila Prabhupada goes, Janmadasya daha. Everything emanates from Krishna. Everything comes. He is source of everything. Everything means all the demigods, all the Prajapatis, all the universe, everything. So it's not difficult for Krishna to become heavy. But people who don't know who is Krishna, who never heard about, or superficially they just see from some TV serial or some cinema, they can't understand. They will be, oh, this is just some imaginary story, they will think. But it's not, it's fact. Srila Prabhupada many times say it's fact. So, and Prabhupada says here in the purport that Mother Yashoda did not understand that Krishna is the heaviest of all heavy things. Of course, as Prabhupada said, that because of Yogamaya, Brajavasis, they see Krishna as very lovable, very beautiful baby. They are not having this Aishwarya knowledge. Is their Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya Bhavas is overpowers this Aishwarya knowledge. So they don't see Krishna as a Supreme Lord. Because if they, for example, Mother Yashoda, if she knows that Krishna is source of everything, he is the Supreme Lord and he created everyone, and then there is no really that Vasalya Bhava, reciprocation, the mother and son, or any other, even Gopas, other gopis, they will not have this loving relationship. All the lila will be spoiled in that way. So, therefore, Mother Yashoda or anybody else in Vrindavan, they don't understand when Krishna does something. Like in the previous lila also we heard that when Chakrasura was killed, the cart broken into pieces, such a huge cart. And the Gopas, although they told that because Krishna hit with his leg and it's broken, but nobody believed it. Nobody wanted to accept it. These children, something they are blubbering. So even though is a Supreme Lord also actually completely into that mood as a baby, is a child of Mother Yashoda and friend of Gopas and lover of gopis and all. In that mood, perfectly he is also, reciprocating their loving relationship. But Lord also, same time, just to show us that we don't misunderstand that Krishna is an ordinary child. He is performing all these activities like killing Bhutana, killing this Jagadasura, and this Tranavarta Leela, and so many other demons, and then lifting Govardhan. All these Leelas, for Vrajavasis, something is happening. They just, like when next Leela is coming also, that Krishna is showing the whole universe in his mouth. And Mother Yashoda, what is this? Something. Okay, go play. Don't eat any more mud or something like that. She just ignore it. So the point is that they are covered. They don't understand. This is a really amazing thing that in the material world, the conditioned souls, they are completely covered by another energy of Krishna. Nobody understands who is Krishna and Krishna's power. Uh, so they are here in this material world, and in the perfect world, who are perfected souls, uh, eternally living with Krishna in Goloka, they don't understand Krishna. It's a really amazing thing. And who understand? Vaikuntha. Oh, there is, yes, they chant Purusha Shukta and then all the prayers and all the you know, worship and supreme as a supreme Lord. But that also is not really full understanding of the supreme Lord, because that is, of course, the Parcharya Santaram Apyapeta Brahma Samhita says that there is no difference between the Deepas. Is same power is there, but still that form is not the source of everything. So in Vaikuntha also they don't understand who is the supreme, who is the source of everything. So ultimately nobody understands. So even somebody, then we may ask, then what's the point? Then why we are studying this Bhagavatam? Why we are discussing this? Then nobody can understand. Krishna says, Vedaisha sarvam aham veda vedya vedanta krit veda videvacha. All the Vedas is meant to understand Vedaisha sarvam. Aham veda vedya. To understand him, to understand Krishna. Then what's the point of discussing all these things and trying to understand, studying all the scriptures, so many commentaries by so many acharyas. Of course, definitely we can come to the conclusion that Srila Prabhupada explains that we can understand that nobody can understand Krishna fully. That is the understanding will come. We can understand as much Krishna wants us to understand him. So, for that, definitely, because Krishna is recommends, Krishna wanted, therefore he given all this knowledge. Unless we are in this process, we will never understand anything about Krishna, then we will remain in this material world. So therefore, we have to seriously try to study, understand this all the scripture, particularly Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, very much. Srila Prabhupada stressed this. We have to study it. So then another thing is in this verse, see that Mother Yashoda put the child down on the ground and began to think of Narayana when Krishna becomes so heavy. And immediate thing what she does, think of Lord Narayana. This is very important thing to learn from this incident. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that glancing upward Vaikuntha in meditation, she said, "Oh Lord, you have given this son, you must protect him." You given the son, now something is happening, I can't understand what's going on. He becomes so heavy, so you must protect. And then in anxiety, she went to call some brahmanas to perform swasthayana karma. So this is In Vedic culture, everybody was in this mood, and they, even they are, even some uneducated, some simple village people, uh, everybody was used to chant. Any situation, always they used to chant. I remember in childhood, even if these elderly people, when they sit and stand up or sit down, a little difficulties when they get old, this little pain. They will always chant Narayana, Narayana, Govinda, Govinda, something they will, while sitting or standing up or anything. When they do, they will chant Krishna's name. They will think of the Lord. That's common thing. Or at least some demigod's name. People used to chant. Some people who worship demigods, they will chant demigod's name. At least, if not everybody is chanting Vishnu's name. That's common thing. But nowadays people don't. Or at least they used to think Father, Mother. Now they don't even chant Father, Mother. So the point is that Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Man mana mad bhakto madhyajimam namaskuru. Think of me. Is thinking of Krishna is the most auspicious thing what we can do in this material world. We see here Mother Yashoda foreseeing there is something going to happen, some dangerous is going to come. So immediately thinking of Lord Narayana. So Bhagavatam says, Padam Padam et vipatam natesham. Every step in this material world is danger. So then what we have to do? We have to think always think of Krishna. That is the only solution to get out of all this dangerous situation. So Krishna says, Swalpam abhyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Swalpam, even it's a little bit our endeavor in this process. Thinking of Krishna, especially in this Kali Yuga, it's very easy. Because of mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we can think of Krishna by chanting this Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It's not so difficult. And then just simply, easily we can get out of all the danger. The most fearful thing is the time of death. Is people get so much frightened, so much fear. They are not pious people. You see, they pass urine, and they become so scared. So if they want to get out of this dangerous situation, they have to think of Supreme Lord, Krishna's name, chant Krishna's name. Then they can come out of. We can see in the history there are so many great devotees who are always think of the Lord, and they went through even though so many dangerous situations. Like yesterday we were hearing Prabhu was nicely narrating all the Prahlad Leela. And so many dangerous situations he went through. But every time he was just always thinking of Supreme Lord Vishnu Smarana. And because of that, he was protected. And Pandavas, you see, they also went through so many difficulties from beginning. Always these Kauravas, Duryodhana and party, they wanted to kill them. They tried to give poison, they put fire in the house, and so many ways, so many times they tried to kill them. But every time Krishna protected. So many difficult situations. Durvasa Muni came with all his disciples by Duryodhana's crooked plan, and purposely he wanted to put them in difficulty situation. And then they just, Draupadi and was just calling Krishna, help me. Immediately Krishna was there, even though Dwaraka is much far away from their place. Uh, Krishna can hear uh, from anywhere you call, or even just think of Krishna, Krishna can come. Krishna can save the dangerous situation, difficult situation. Uh, and he's the only protector. He's only the uh, can save us from any dangerous situation. That's the important thing. Nobody else can protect us. Rakshati iti vishvaso. Rakshati iti vishvaso. Krishna only the Rakshaka who can protect us. That vishvasa, that faith should be there. So for that, we have to hear about Krishna. We have to chant Krishna's name to understand, because now in this material world our position is so much contaminated by so many sinful activity. Just like in Bhagavatam, in the first canto and the 8th chapter, last verse gives one example, like Kunti Maharani's prayers in this chapter, that like there is a muddy water, and if you want to make it clear, filter it and remove the mud and get the clear water. You, by mixing more mud, you can't get it. But unfortunately, Srila Prabhupada explained, today situation in this world is like muddy water. Everything is contaminated. Or another example is given that by touching the liquor, everything becomes contaminated. Liquor is so much contaminated. Anything you touch with, Prabhupada gives example, one huge pot of milk if we have, just one drop of liquor you put, become contaminated. One drop of wine spoils all the milk. Prabhupada says, even chemically you test it, you will get the result is spoiled. So, like that, today the current situation in this material world is everything is contaminated because so much sinful activity. For example, this drinking liquor becomes like everyday habit, everyday affair of people. Everywhere, people drinking like anything. So they become more and more contaminated in this material world. Like meat eating, which is prohibited, they do it every day, and is increasing every day. Gambling, illicit sex, all these prohibited items becomes everyday affair. Previously, it was so much restricted. Very few people who can't control their senses, they will, with a lot of restriction, they were allowed to take, like meat eating is allowed with a lot of restriction. Very, few people were eating, but nowadays it's becoming like so common, everyone. So all this polluted. So he's like, instead of filtering out all the mud from the water, and they are adding more mud. They're making more and more contamination. So only solution is, Srila Prabhupada gives, when muddy water is there, you put this alum, this chemical, then it becomes, it separates all the muddy thing and then the clean water. So like that, you put this process, chanting holy name, think of Krishna, engage in the service of Krishna. This will purify everything. And practically we see in our movement, everywhere, people, whoever is taking up this process, and everybody becomes purified. Everybody is protected from the most dangerous position, most difficult position. They are not affected with this modes of material nature. If they are fully surrendered to Krishna, they, even though they live in this material world, but they are completely uh, aloof from this uh, material world. Srila Prabhupada gives the example, this lotus, even though it comes uh, from the water, but there is no water, stays on the leaf. So it's completely aloof from the water. So similarly, if someone is Krishna conscious, even though you live in this material world, but you are not affected by this material world. All these sinful activities of the people, nothing can harm you. And we saw Srila Prabhupada, how he was really pure and he was not at all affected by any of these things. Uh, so, this is a very important lesson. Like even Mother Yashoda is just a very topmost devotee, and she is always thinking of Lord Narayana, any difficult situation, anytime. So we have to follow their footstep. All other devotees, there are many, many devotees we can uh, quote in the history. And even now, even in our this Sankirtan movement, so many devotees have so many experience. I remember one incident, Harish Shauri Prabhu, he told that once he was, I forgot where was the place, but he was distributing books on the street, somewhere in parking areas. And then suddenly one demoniac person, somebody who was so envious, and he came and he was trying to stop book distribution, and then uh, Harishauri Prabhu avoided him, moved some other place, and then he came again, and he trying to pull the books and tear it and throw it, and he was so nasty. And one moment he becomes so angry, and the man become, he wants to even beat. He put his hand like this, and he wants to kick on his face. And then suddenly Harishauri Prabhu just, folded a hand and just chant Namaste Narasimhaya Praladadaini Pralasudi. He just chanted loudly and closed eyes. And then after chanting, he opened eyes, the man is not there anymore. And he was looking around, nobody was there. For quite some time he was harassing, so much, but suddenly then, he was not there. So there are so many incidents like that we can go. The devotees were protected by the Supreme Lord. When you think of the Supreme Lord, He really protects. Uh, so, so because Krishna loves so much His devotees, uh, so He is so merciful. Particularly now, He came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Namo Mahavadanyaya, Krishna Prema Pradayate. He is very freely giving this pure love of Krishna to everyone. If anybody takes up this chanting holy name, this process, and they can seriously, if they practice it, they can very easily achieve. It's not so difficult. So we are very fortunate to come in contact with this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sankirtan movement, and particularly under Srila Prabhupada's um, guidance, and we are so fortunate. So we should take it to this process very seriously and give it to others, so they also can save themselves from all this dangerous, difficult situation. Hare Krishna. So I stop here. Is there any question or comment? Yes, bro.
On the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Arjuna requested the Lord to show his universal form, and when Arjuna saw that form, he was very frightened and perturbed, and he saw everything in the form. He saw the whole universe, he saw the whole creation, but he was very frightened, and then he asked Krishna to revert to his original form.
Yeah.
And then he was pacified. So, how do we, as new devotees, where should we focus our attention in Krishna consciousness? Should we be focusing on the original forms of Krishna, like on his pastimes, or should we be thinking like Mother Jasoda of Lakshmi Narayan, or should we be reading Bhagavad Gita, where should we focus our attention to get the best, to make the most advancement in Krishna consciousness?
Okay. So, as I understand that in Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, in 7th chapter and 9th chapter, 10th chapter, there are so many of his opulences he explains. Even someone is not devotee, just by observing, like Rasogam Apsukaunteya, he says, I'm the taste of water. In that way, even if one is not, devotee, by just observing all these things, seeing all these Krishna's opulences, and they can appreciate how Krishna is a great, then slowly they can come in touch with Krishna's devotees, and then hear from devotees, and then they can understand. And then when they come, particularly in our Sampradaya, we focus on Krishna's Swayam Rupa, the two-handed form. That's what Prabhupada is explaining. And then, and his most sweet pastimes are there. And so, I don't know, I think this is how completely from nearby stage, and then we can come up to the highest devotee. In the beginning stage, or advanced stage, as a Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, we always think of Krishna, we meditate on Krishna. Srila Prabhupada recommends to hear more in the beginning. When we chant Krishna's name, when we hear the lectures, we just, by hearing, we get more understanding. Then the remembrance, the smarana comes automatically later. We don't have to now, many times devotees, they ask, when we chant, can we think of this pastime, that pastime, or think of this particular poem or something. Prabhupada says better you concentrate on hearing. So in the beginning stage, hearing is very much recommended. Then once they become steady in their devotional service, Nishtha, Ruchi, then automatically the level increases, then automatically they are able to think of these pastimes. It comes as a nature. Uh, yes, yes. Work now, samadhi later. Yeah.
Just to add to this one, there's one incident came to my mind. Uh, that there was a devotee, they were actually, she's thinking that, she's in some kind of a Vatsalya bhava and like that. She has her Krishna, she keeps Krishna in her lap and she's watching TV. It's complete nonsense. They're misusing
Yeah.
philosophy like that. That I'm in a very advanced stage and like that. It's total
Yeah.
misuse of. Just to add one more point in this, as you made the point that Krishna doesn't pretend, he is really enjoying these pastimes. And we see Prabhupada also is mentioning in many places that, the impersonalists have a great problem understanding this. What is this? Krishna wants to fly high. He loves that. He wants to do that. But and Prabhupada makes a point in many places that it's a fact that Krishna really enjoys. He doesn't pretend. And we see here in many of this pastimes that Krishna is doing that. And Srila Jiva Goswami, he points out one more interesting thing. He links. He says that in this Leela, that the Lord is showing his heaviness by showing the entire weight of the universe. Similarly, he's also linking it to Damodar pastime, where the entire, the whole universe was in belly. And he says Mother Yashoda couldn't tie because of that. One of the reason he says, because of that.
Okay. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।